Stream is live. Good afternoon. Good lunchtime hour, everybody. Thank you for joining me for another exciting live stream. I'm gonna go ahead and just do as a quick Discord update saying stream is live, and let's jump right in. So today's stream, I'm gonna cover BTC, I'm gonna cover Ether, I'm gonna cover Litecoin, I'm gonna cover the S&P, QQQ. Just gives a broad update on markets, what happened over the weekend, and what the market's looking to do this week. I'm gonna start off with BTC, kind of jump right in. If you guys can, you guys have tickers for me to cover throughout the stream, just go ahead and show them in the comments. I believe we are live on Facebook. Oh, sorry, we're live on TradingView, and I believe we're dual streaming to YouTube. I believe we're doing that. Not quite sure. I'm gonna double check on that. And meanwhile, you guys in here already, thank you for tuning in. Smash that like button already, and we'll get this started. We'll get the show on the road. BTC, right? Over the weekend on Friday, during Friday's update, I was saying that this sell-off was looking a bit of a bear trap, a bit of a shakeout. What happened is, on the initial run up to 64,371, we saw a failure, right? That was resistance. We came back down here, created the 61.8 bearish retracement, and it's kind of a synopsis on how we got to where we are today. And that'll help us get there, see what was going to happen in the future. Anyway, so we had the 61.8 bearish retracement that resulted into somewhat of a bear flag that broke down into a correction, right? We saw the pullback, we saw 30,000 act as support, and then we saw the initial run up. This was a 61.8 of the bigger move. So if I just drag this down, saw that initial rejection there, right? But on the second attempt, we got a break above, and we got big old continuation. All right, I believe we are live on the tube already. Good morning, Delilah. So I'm catching up with everybody's comments on both streams. So where we are now, right? We saw another failure to close and sustain above 64,371, and now we're seeing a secondary pullback up to the upside, back towards 64,371. So ideally, we want to see a 61.8 retracement. And we want to see how it plays out. So I'm going to go into let's go into the hourly just to examine this pullback, see what it's doing, what it's done. And we're currently above that 50%, right? We're above that 50% retracement. We're doing somewhat of a channel. I'm not a big fan of this channel, but I believe we're likely to see continuation based on what indices are doing, based on what futures did. Like today, we opened a QQQ put position and then closed it out pretty soon afterwards, right? Just because things are looking promising, and I'm going to look for just future indication of what we're going to do. So ideally, we want to see what happens at 64K 93, which is also going to run up on that secondary. The previous high, right? The previous all-time high that was resistance. I'm just going to drop a price label there so we can see it. And 64.04. So we want to see what price action does up here. And if we get a close above and a retest above 64K, then we're likely to see some kind of continuation, right? In that case, I'm going to go to 4 hour. And, we're looking for 68,000. And just higher targets, right? Just a bullish continuation. That would be the most ideal scenario. Hopping into ETH/USD. What's up? IFFX, big G off. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And do I have fibs on this chart? Which Ether is this? That's Bitstamp. I believe my Ether Coinbase chart has more of a roadmap, and we do, right? We have got a roadmap over here, and I'm running some really long-term extensions, and it kind of gives us this double bottom. The chart's really compliant with what's happening. As sets our next long-term target up at that 4,900 range, right? I'm just gonna stretch this out. So if you got, I signaled some ETH USD futures longs at 100x over the weekend. Some of us got stopped out. If you retried after stopping out, you should be in pretty good profits. It made that initial run, then a pullback. Now, I do see reason for us to get up to 47.92, $5,000, which could potentially be the next resistance, right? We won't know until we get there. Now, in terms of intraday, what I'm seeing, I think we're above that 61.8, right? Either that or we're right at it. So we did see a micro high a few hours ago, and we're actually above the 61.8. So we want to see it close above 41.86, right? For a continuation and a higher move. So for you guys that are long on 100x, right? Our next big term target is 49.72. LTC, man, it did something very similar, right? It kind of pumped and it pulled back, and now we're looking for, I believe it's trading this extension. I'm gonna add another one, just a longer one from the previous all-time high, which was so long ago. And I had done this double top at 417. I'm just gonna stretch this one down. It actually kind of lines up, man. It lines up perfectly, right? The 417 high, which was the previous high. So you want to see a sustained move to 219, right? Especially if 194 holds as support, right? So what somebody can do now, since we're at like 196, and there's this nice doji candle with a big wick, right? So a good leverage entry, and with like a $2 stop. Oh, that's 184. That's way further down. Decent, it's going to be a big stop, but if we do get that breakout here, right, then target 1's going to be like 219. I'm just going to like get the risk reward ratio on the setup, which is like 12%, 11% downside. That's pretty big, but 12% up, so it's like a 1-to-1. Ideally, we get it up to 266. Let's wait for more direction before like doing something crazy. I don't like chasing like these pumps. I like buying in a sell-offs, right? Maybe like 189. But we'd like to see continuation, right? As long as we stay above 194, then we can see 219, 266. Let's look at the S&P. I'm going to look at futures. I'm going to start with the ES. And, I was looking for some kind of bull trap last week and the week prior. And it looks like we're not going to get it just yet. I think the next target is going to be 46.10 before we actually see some kind of trap develop, which is another reason I pulled out of puts on the QQQ, right? I think we could probably pull out of puts on Apple that we got in on Friday while they're still in profit, even though it's a small profit. I think the next place I want to look for a bull trap's going to be at 46.10, right? I want to wait for this to play out. And I'm getting these extensions off the very big range, right? The 2007 high to the meltdown, 09, right? That's where we're getting these extension targets from, right? We have another smaller one here. We could even just get rid of this. And this gives us a clear picture of what's happening. Yeah, let's pop up Apple. Let's look at QQQ and then we'll pull up Apple. It's nice shorting something like Apple that like everybody is freaking long on, you know what I mean? Like, especially when it plays out. It's just still below that 61.8, right? And I was waiting for it to hit 150 before getting in because we knew it was going to reject on the first attempt. Interestingly, on the QQQ, we're seeing something very similar to the S&P, right? With 15,749 being the next resistance. And it did rub up on it the first time, rejected. Now we're going back above. So, and I do have alerts there, right? You can see that I have an Excel TQQQ. So I probably want to like buy some TQ puts, right? 3x long leverage puts because everybody's going to be in those, right? And when it drops 1%, we make 3% on the puts all the way down, or like at 100x leverage almost. So we're we're we'll wait for future indication what happens if 15749. What's nice, if you guys didn't sell the 370 calls on the QQQ and they expire end of week, right? $7 in the money, man, on some $80. I sold out, right? They're like 80-cent calls, so 80 bucks each position. I sold them when we were close to like 600, so it was a big run for me, and I was happy with it. I don't want to get too greedy. And we are holding some other positions that are still going up with further time out. And yeah, so you can see 392 potentially. 393 should coincide with the previous target from the NQ. Let's pop up Apple. You guys start showing me some tickers. Any market, right? Anything you guys want. Let's see what's happening. So the reason I took out those Apple puts, you guys know, was the 61.8 at 150. And I figured we were not going to break it on the first attempt, especially with everything blowing off. And if Apple was still correct there, or if it was going to stall out, that this was going to be it, right? And we saw the initial stall, and now we're seeing some kind of like bull flaggy consolidation. Let's see if it breaks. And if it breaks, like maybe close out those puts while they're still in profit, or at least at break even, so we don't say we lost on the puts. And maybe we can reposition in the future, right? There's nothing wrong with small losses. The big ones are what's going to hurt you, right? And this was a moderate risk position. Like it wasn't. We bought the discounted ones at 148 when we were at 150. Ideally, right, the next move is going to be 149.20. So I'm just going to set an alert here for a break above, and a break above would be like, let's exit the Apple puts. And if we don't break above, maybe we could add, maybe we could double down. Tesla in a bubble. Tesla's bubbling again every time. Check for puts. All right. Thank you guys for the suggestions. Yamez, thank you for talking about Tesla. Let's pop that up. Yeah, when Tesla starts bubbling, it freaking goes, man. Geez, parabolic. That is a parabola. Who was it? Michael Burry. Michael Burry was a Tesla bear, and he's like, this thing's gonna crash so hard. And he was short, and I'm pretty sure he's getting squeezed out right now. There's no way he's averaged up all the way up, like almost 100% on a short. You guys that don't know who Michael Burry is, he's the big short, right? He kind of predicted and traded the meltdown in 2007. So we are seeing, right, Tesla at local resistance at 1,004, right? So we're almost there. I'm going to do a 240 because it's going to include the daily wicks. And just give us a more accurate fib placement. So the way we're getting this extension target is off that swing high, right? That's our 1, which is 100% retracement. This is our 0, right, for the fib. And then once it's retraced 100% and it's going up higher, these are going to be extensions. So we're literally at 997. So just by making my fibs a little more tight, we could see potentially some kind of top here, right? And then the next level up is 1049. So these are the next targets on Tesla. I want to see what volume does. Maybe we'll do something controversial depending on how well it's priced. Maybe take out at the money puts and see if this gap fills, right? Maybe the gap's lower. I don't know if it could be a separation gap too, so it could be really dangerous to short. Let's just do like a risk reward calculation. We are at target, right? And we could see resistance here. Oh, have we seen this in the past? Have we seen these types of pullbacks in the past on an initial breakout after a consolidation period on Tesla? And like we really have, right? Like look at that move to 604, right? It coincides with my blue fib. I apologize for my fibs not having the levels. They're not the standard levels. That's why, especially the blue and the red one, right? So if we look at these two moves, we see resistance here, right, and a retest at the 100% retracement mark. So we could potentially see resistance here and a retest at 900. At that point, if we don't get puts here, right, at that point, if we wait for that, and then maybe once we get to 900, we'll buy the 981, 982 calls and wait for the sender, right? So get that breakout pullback. And let's see if that's happened before again, because we see something similar. This one was a straight mooner, right? This was post-COVID. And then like once 270 was support twice, you could run it up. So I think all eyes on Tesla. Since we're getting that move, I think we're going to need a down day, right? If we want to go up, if we want to trade up, we're going to need a down day to a previous fib level to see consolidation there, so we can buy discounted calls that are far out and out of the money and get that big run up, right? That's what I'm waiting for on Tesla. I don't have a position right now. Coolly, let's look at PolQSD. This chart looks nice, man. Like a bull flag consolidation. I don't see a bearish 61.8. This can go up to 192. Right? I think that's gonna be the first target. What's going on here? Yeah, 192, $2 looks good, right? At least some kind of push to 105. I like it. All right, let's go back to AAL. I think you're thinking AAL, American Airlines, because I do have an open trade. Man, why are we dipping? It was looking good on Friday. We have December calls, right? And they're right at like $22. I don't know why it's dipping. It could be doing something like Zillow. It's still holding the trend line. Let's assess the trend line, right? Let's think of a stop at like 1858. I wasn't expecting it to go this low, especially with everything else going up. Like even TNA, or the IWM, the Russell's going up. You should see airlines melt up, especially prior to the holidays, because people are flying around this holiday season, right? It should be a strong holiday season. Like nobody's really scared of COVID anymore. I don't know if we're getting lockdowns again or travel restrictions. Yeah, let's look at MGA, Magna International. Ooh, that's a nice chart, man. You got a consolidation, breakout, and a pullback. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to assess this pullback real quick before going any further, just to see if we're at a 61.8, deeper or shallower, and we're at a 50%, right? So a good place to consider buying into some kind of pullback like this, and I'll fix this chart for you guys. I'll move it to the center. Here we go. A good place to consider hopping in a chart like this would be the 61.8, 78.15, unless we get like a strong push of 79.84, which is the 50% fib retracement. At this point, I'm not seeing like candles that indicate that we're going to see that. It's definitely looking like it's headed down to 78.5. Now let's kind of zoom out and see what happened. So we're kind of getting this linear resistance, right? I'm just going to drop array over it, yeah. So it's not really a double top, but so this chart might do like a round bottom type thing. Definitely do a revisit to 78.15. I'm not very intimate with it, and what we're going to do is two more things, right? The idea, or the ideal pullback from a move like this would be to 61.8. We're not getting one here. We're getting close to one, right? 87 was a close to one off this low. So ideally, we want to see it do a 61.8 bear retracement, or 50% at least, before pulling back deeper. So I do think we should see a move to 88 at some point. So maybe like 78.15, and then like maybe a bull trap here, maybe a bull trap here, before we can assess a continuation. Now let's zoom out even further, right? Because this is kind of narrow analysis. And first I'm looking at this chart. So what I want to do is I want to go to the daily. And I want to see what it's extending and what these previous extension levels, where they are. because that's going to give us a good indication of where support really is, right? Because if these major levels start failing, like I showed you guys on Tesla how things retest, if these major levels start failing, then this chart could be in trouble, right? So yeah, we see 86.17 act as resistance twice, right? And that's why I like these levels. I'm also going to do something just a little different. Just extend these two, this high to this low, to just give us another indication of what's possibly happening. I don't know which set of fibs looks more real. This one? Right? They're both valid. Or this one. We're going to leave both, right? I think we want to see on a sell-off, we want to see a close above 78.15, 78.13, which is at 61.8. Because we could do something like a pullback to here. So it kind of like fakes out below 79. And if we get a close above 79.8, then we could think about an extension. But we definitely want to see bulls push above here. I don't see an entry now. It's just something to keep an eye on. Hello, Arfiner. Arfin R. You guys show me some more tickers. This is I got some good energy in the stream. Smash that like button too. You guys on Trading View, hit me up with some love. What other tickers do you want to look at? Let me look behind me real quick on my watch list and see what's happening. So I updated the eBay chart today. Right, we took some profits on it because I do think we should see some kind of pullback. I'm getting a different set of fibs here, right? 83 is the next target, and there's also targets in Discord like 87. And there should be a fib zone below us. I mean, it's definitely looking tricky because there's a lot to extend and retrace. Let's wait. Let's wait for like 83. Let's wait $3 more. It's already up like 200% from our entry. It's been a good move. It looks sustainable. We have till I think December to close it out. So let's wait for a real blow off, and then we'll check it out. All right, looking at Sol. I'm guessing Sol USD because you can really trade BTC pairs these days. And let's look at FTX, Solana, and FTX. Man, this thing is straight bubbling. Alright, so I'm going to pick this high and this low just because there's a lot of market participants on that run up and a lot of market participants on that run down. And we're getting some pretty decent levels, right? And one thing that's pretty cool, right? I'm going to zoom in. One thing I talked, when I was doing my fib workshop here locally, I was talking about you want to see where the close is, right? And if you look at this close on that daily, on this sell-off, right, it definitely like try to close at the fib zone, right? The next one definitely closed, right? So that should have been an indication that this is likely bear trappy. And this support we're seeing with all these closes above and these wicks and small doji candles should be an indication that we're going to break out, right? And that was at like $27. My bad for not paying attention back then to this chart. All right, where does that put us today? That puts us with like a 243 next extension target, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just redraw this, just remove all the drawings, and see if there's anything between here and there that could give us a leverage entry, right? Like a minor pullback. Also, what validates these fibs is, this support as 71. And now we should see a retest of 243, right? It should be a test. It would be the initial test. 243 to 245. That would be the next target for Sol. And there's also a set of fibs that we can get off this consolidation zone. And I think this one is going to be like most recent. So if we see like a move to 278, right? This is interesting. This gives us like a schematic what could happen in the future. If we see a blow off to 278, right, and a pullback to 243, and like wicks, like I showed you guys earlier on that daily close, wicks below 243 and then closes above 243 after a move to 278. So something like this. My bad for drawing it in the past, right? And then we see a close above here. I think that would be a good long with stop below for a push up, right? If we're really bubbling. That's all I have on Sol. Okay. LCID guys, thanks for dropping in these tickers. Please show me some more tickers. Don't be shy. LCID looks interesting. It's definitely coming up on like a roof type ceiling. I like this gap up. It could be like a separation gap. I like this gap up. And we could see a move to 46.38. Like that would be the next big swing target. Just gonna click on auto, smooth things out for everyone. And where are we in terms of a 61.8? It's definitely above, right? And you look at that, that's exactly where that gap is. That's pretty insane, right? And I was talking about, I mean, the title of our stream is Chart Mastery, right? I'm actually writing a book about fibs, and that's what the book's called. And you know, one thing I highlighted earlier is these closes, right? And we're seeing this doji, right? And then boom, open above, and it's already rocketing. So really pay attention to like daily closes in terms of where your fibs are, where your 61.8 is, where resistance is, fib resistance, and so forth. All right. What's going on with this latest smallest move? That's going to also give us an indication of is it failing at a 61 point? It's at a 786. It looks promising. It looks promising. Let's see what happens at $25, $26. I covered Apple, Dan. Thank you, Dan213. So I covered Apple, and you know we had bought these puts on 150, but for 148, and I want to see what happens at 149.23, right? That would be the next 61.8. To let me know if I should sell those 148 puts and get out of it versus continue on. But the reason we shorted 150 was I saw this like rejection, this sell-off, these wicks above 150, which is a 61.8. And usually you're not going to get a break above on the first test, not when something's corrective. But, I mean, you're going from corrective to erective almost, just blow off top on indices. So we're going to see, you know, how the S&P, yes, I think we're going to see a bull trap just a little higher. If we get a close above that 61.8 on Apple, I'm likely above 149 to 61.8. I'm likely to get out of these calls and just wait for a future indication. MTV USDT, thank you, Cooley, on the tube. MTV USDT, multivac. What are these guys vaccinating for? All the vaccines in one dose? It's a joke. What is multivac? I'm not familiar. This chart is going. GFP, SLV, silver. It's going, but it's really still at 2 cents. This looks interesting. It's at resistance, right? If we get a nice clean close above 3 to 2 cents, 0.28 cents, then we're likely going to see a move to 4, right? So like another 100% pump. Yeah, if we get that. I mean, as of now, it's not looking... Just give it time, right? I mean, these are cryptos. It definitely like rejected a target. The fibs look valid. And yeah, we should just kind of, that's all I got on this one. Looking at SLV, I spoke about silver and gold and what I think about metals, and I'm waiting for a liquidity grab on metals, which would be a fake out to the low before a run up. And I'm gonna cover gold too. I'm gonna cover gold, show you what I see on gold, and then we'll look at silver, just because that's kind of what I'm eyeing for, like a hell of a discounted entry on metals, right? For a bullish continuation. And it's kind of a moving averages trade. Definitely a moving averages trade. So let's look at gold. How was everybody's weekend? You guys have a good weekend? Anybody do something super cool in the week? Anybody learn something new? Anybody, learn about some new tickers, chatting with some friends, some new projects? All right. So what I'm looking for on gold is a move to my 720 daily moving average, right? Because here I'm looking for this, because we're pretty close. I think it could bull trap, board trap. Why is my stream audio on? There we go. What just happened? Sorry guys, technical difficulty. I'm back on. We're still going. So one thing I'm looking for in gold and silver on metals is a pullback to the 720 daily moving average, right? Because that should be the level, like just the ultimate low before a run up, based on what I've seen before, right? And that's the only place I'm going to interact. I'm kind of sticking my guns on this one. If not, we end up chasing an entry somewhere else with like a pullback to the 360, right? I'd be willing to do that. I want to buy a pullback to one of these moving averages, the 1 year or the 2 year, for a continuation. That's what I'm willing to trade. Until then, I'm staying out. And looking at gold, we saw rejection at 360. Are we gonna see another move up? I don't know. Continuation up? I don't know. Likely. Possibly. All right, now let's look at silver. Let me do the CFDs. It's just continuous, more swing highs, more swing lows. So silver's running up in a resistance, right? The 1 year moving average is now resistance, and until it turns into support, I don't know if I want to trade it, right? Here we see like something similar happen. I don't know if I want to swing it to the upside, right? And we see this move here. There was a bull trap, definite bull trap, and then pull back below, and then we see that liquidity move for a bear trap before launching up, right? So I'm still waiting for this move down to here. I might wait forever. Now, if we get a bullish continuation and a pullback to this 1 year MA, and it turns into support, then I'll bid it, right? But for now, it's a no trade zone. Let's look at fibs on it. Let me fib this chart and just give us more indication of what's possible. But yeah, I'm not in a silver position right now. I'm just being cautious. I'm only trading things that I would consider ads. I mean, we could see a move to 25.6, 25.9, and then I want to wait for the retest, a bullish retest of the 1 year moving average. It's a 365 day right on the daily, so it's a 1 year. Just don't type in 1 year in trading view. Alright guys, smash that like button, whichever platform you're on, and if you guys don't have any more tickers, I'm gonna kind of call this stream a day. It's been a nice healthy 35 minutes. Tomorrow I'm gonna stream on YouTube. I'm doing multi-stream, so we'll be on like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, And then Wednesday, I'll be back on here, same time, 12:30 Eastern. Going on a lunchtime, just catch you guys while eating lunch or on your break. And yeah, bon appetit to everybody. Hope you enjoyed my little lunch session. And smash that like button,